Hi guys, I'm Syrachime and I welcome you back to another episode of Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last episode, we took on our rival for the second time and actually beat him quite handily. And shortly after that, we made our way into the Ilex Forest where we encountered a lot of obstacles, some of which were pretty much expected, and then there were some other things that happened, which were just completely unexpected. This includes the bitter betrayal of a dear friend we call Bloke. Well, it wasn't all bad though, because during the process of getting to where we are right now, we did encounter this little Oddish here and caught it as a new member of our team. So yeah, there were some pretty good things that happened in the forest. And then we made it up to this point here, and that was really all we were able to do before the time caught up to us. So in this episode here, we are going to proceed on towards Goldenrod City and hopefully make it up there and explore the city by the end of the episode. So before we actually do anything, I'd actually like to kind of show you guys this Oddish a little bit. Because when I originally caught it, it was only at level 9, and off screen I actually went ahead and trained this thing a little bit off screen. Here you can see that it is a bold Oddish that is somewhat stubborn, up to level 17 as I said. It's got a couple of new attacks. It's got the Move Acid, which is a base power 40, Absorb, which is just 20. Stone Spore and Sleep Powder, which will be the main reason I use this thing, but we'll talk more about that later. But anyway, here's my Oddish. I just kind of wanted to show it to you guys, so you're not totally confused for what's going on when this thing actually goes out in the battle. So yeah, here is my new Pokemon, which is leveled up around the same level as my other Pokemon, except Ratman, which is my HM slave. So there we go. Alright, so with that out there, we are finally going to move on now towards Goldenrod City. And to do so, we need to actually make it through this new route here, which is Route 34. Now here on Route 34, there are actually a couple of new Pokemon we could find here. And those Pokemon are, well, just looking over them, whether we find one or not. The first new Pokemon you could find here is not a Rattata. It's actually the Psychic-type Pokemon Drowsy, found in both versions of the game throughout all the time cycles. Now, Drowsy is a pretty good Pokemon. It has a really good HP stat, in addition to having a pretty good, well, actually a great special defense stat. And in addition to that, this Pokemon also has access to a pretty viable move pool. Kind of a stretch to say that, but I'll explain that more in the negatives, which kind of start right here. The bad thing about Drowsy is that, unfortunately, outside of its good HP and great special defense, it doesn't really have any stats at all. It has a low speed stat along with low subpar offenses and a really low defense stat. So this thing is not going to be really good to use for your team in any kind of role, and that's really the biggest thing that hurts this Pokemon. It's really outclassed in both its role and type. There are better psychic types out there. There are better Pokemon that could do special attacking, physical attacking. This Pokemon could work if you were willing to put the time into it, but it's really just not worth it in my opinion. Because of that, I would honestly recommend passing on a Drowsy. Now the second Pokemon you could find here is not a Rattata. It is actually another Psychic-type Pokemon named Abra, found in both versions of the game throughout all the time cycles. Now Abra is a pretty good Pokemon. It's actually a fantastic Pokemon. It has a fantastic special attack and speed stat, which honestly those stats are among the best in the game. And in addition to that, with the proper TMs, this Pokemon can actually hit everything for super effective damage and hit really incredibly hard. So this goes great for a Pokemon that's super offensive and fast like Abra is. Now unfortunately what really hurts Abra is the fact that it actually has no defenses at all. It is pretty much one of those Pokemon that needs to KO or be KO'd. It is pretty much the definition of a glass cannon. But in addition to being a glass cannon, the biggest limiting factor to using Abra is the fact that you actually need to trade this Pokemon in order to evolve it. So yeah, if you don't have a partner to trade with, this Pokemon is pretty much going to be dead weight to your team. It's just a respectable special attacker, and there are a lot of better ones out there. But if you can get a person to trade with, I highly recommend Abra. Like I said, it's one of the best offensive Pokemon you could have in the game. Now the final new Pokemon we can find here is the normal type Pokemon Ditto, found in both versions of the game throughout all the time cycles. Now, contrary to what I've been doing with these other Pokemon, I'm actually going to start with the negatives about Ditto first and work towards the positives. And the reason I say that, well, this Pokemon is both the most worthless and most valuable Pokemon you will find at the same time. If you're confused, just let me explain. The only thing this Pokemon can do is transform, which is actually quite brilliant in concept, but it has no stats to pull this off. It is incredibly frail, incredibly slow. You will never get the chance to pull off transform and transform into your opponent before you are KO'd. And even if you do manage to KO, or even if you do manage to transform into the opponent, you basically keep the same HP stats, so you always have a fragile Pokemon. So this Pokemon is completely useless to use in a battle sense. Now you might be wondering, what are the positives of this Pokemon? Well, that is because this thing is a breeding machine. As it turns out, this Pokemon can breed with everything that is not a legendary Pokemon. And because of that, if you are wanting to get into some Pokemon breeding in this game, I do highly recommend this Pokemon for a breeder, but I do not recommend it for any other reason. I don't know why I switched out to Slowpoke there. I do not recommend Ditto for any other reason except for breeding. It is completely worthless outside. Well, it's completely worthless in battle. Okay, so those are the new Pokemon you could find there. Now that we've got them identified, I'm going to go ahead and move on now. If you're wondering why I've been switching out, it's because, well, what? I did not run into a trainer. Well, I've been switching out and in because my Pokemon are kind of slow. But anyway, alright, so apparently we've got my Oddish going to have a debut whether it wants to or not. Anyway, are you a trainer? Let's have a practice battle. Sure, I'll do that. And we'll do so with my new member, the Oddish, which is a very odd Pokemon. She has 3 Pokemon, starting out with a Hoppip. Now, this would actually be a very bad matchup if Oddish wasn't a poison type. But because Oddish is a poison type, we have got this in the bag. See just how powerful this thing is. Oh, I love this new Pokemon. I'm actually really glad to add this to my team. Excuse me. Oh, I'm gonna keep Oddish out there. What do you think I am? Scared of a Bulbasaur? Wait a minute. Where did you even get that Bulbasaur? You can't catch these things in the wild. Seriously, where did you get a Bulbasaur? You don't get these in the wild until Generation 6, and even then you have to have a bunch of things, so special things that make it happen. Oh, well, anyway, I was getting back on. Well, yeah, I'm glad that I added an Oddish to my team. I think it would be a very viable member, especially with 2 of my Pokemon weak to grass-type moves. So having this on my team will actually be quite well. And she is already proving to be a very valuable member to the team already. I just know I'm going to have trouble with this Pokemon's gender. In the last Let's Play I did with Fire Red, I kept calling my former Oddish a female when it was really a he. Didn't help that I gave it a female name. Alright, so there we beat a Gina. Oh no, I just can't win. That's your problem, dude, not mine. Okay, all these trainers are actually... Wait a minute. Whenever I see a strong trainer, I want to be their cheerleader. Don't know how I feel about that. So anyway, moving on. When I'm out on a walk, I sometimes pick up items. If I find anything, you can have it. Well, that's very generous of you. Want to give me your number? I'll call you if I get anything. You know what? If you're going to give me your phone number and you're going to call me every time you have something to give me something, sure, I'll gladly add you to the Pokédex. You're certainly a much more welcome addition than Professor Elm. Alright, we've registered to the Pokegear. I'll call you as soon as I get anything. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Alright, so there we've seen Oddish in her debut. She did quite fabulous. I was very proud of that. I actually can't avoid all these trainers here, but apparently we've got something really important here. If we go up, we will see Grandpa from Lyra. So it looks like somehow Lyra beat us here. I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway, good work, Grandpa. The Pokemon you raised for me has been as healthy as can be. You look fit too! Exclamation mark! I love that. Hi, Chime! Amazing how you just now noticed me. Anyway, let me introduce you. This is Chime. He's a trainer. Way to state the obvious. He seems to be getting better at raising Pokemon. What? That is cruel. I am definitely better at raising Pokemon than you. What do you do to raise Pokemon, Lyra? Moving on. Well, not as good as you, Grandpa, of course. Follow me, Chime. Sure, it's not like I have anything better to do. So we'll just follow Lyra to wherever we're going. As it turns out, we are actually going to what is a Pokemon training thing. Well, I'll explain it in a minute. Anyway, Grandma, let me introduce my friend. This is Chime. Aha, this is your boyfriend. I see. What? Nuh-uh, she's not my girlfriend. I'm not her boyfriend. Under no circumstances is there some kind of relationship going on here. Trust me. What? Grandma, what are you talking about? He just happens to live nearby. You tell him, Lyra. Or her, Lyra. I am definitely not your boyfriend. Oh, then again. Okay, moving on. I know. Oh, as long as you know, got that out of the way. Since you brought him here, Lyra, you must be sure about his talent. Right, Chime? Come and see us anytime. Okay, I probably will, probably won't. Do not yo yet. Anyway, well, I better go now. See ya. Alright, good. Wait, what? What's the matter, Lyra? Oh, I almost forgot. What'd you forget? You seem to be forgetting a lot of things. Here, this is my Pokegear number. And with that, we have registered Lyra to the Pokegear in front of your grandparents. Why couldn't you have done that when we first met, and why'd you choose to do it now in front of your grandparents? Well, anyway, you know you can talk to your Pokemon as they follow you? Sure, did not know that. They do all sorts of cute stuff on the road and in towns. I'm taking notes every time they do funny things. Give me a call and I'll share some of them with you. Okay, probably won't, but I'll take your word for it. Grandma, don't you say anything. We are both trainers and we are supposed to exchange numbers. That's all. That's pretty tough talk coming from a girl that just randomly gave me her number in front of her grandparents. If you had done this earlier, maybe we could have gotten away with it, but no. You had to do it in front of family. Yes, that's really telling your grandparents. Way to go, Lyra. Alright, there goes Lyra with her hyperactive Meryl, and well, more or less what this is just a Pokemon daycare. You leave your Pokemon there, and every step you take is equal to 1 experience point. This is a really good feature if you want to level up your Pokemon really quickly, but I have no plans on using this, or have no intention of using it, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave this place. But before we can actually leave, we are actually going to receive, well, phone numbers from this guy. I have an idea. I'll give you our numbers. Then you can check out the Pokemon we raised for you. So yeah, this is more or less how you find out about your Pokemon, how they're doing and whatnot. It's a pretty good idea, actually. You have to have both the daycare man and the daycare lady? Huh, it's a little weird. Anyway, call us from time to time when you give us your Pokemon to raise. I'll be happy to have a use for this Pokegear my grandchild gave me. Alright, I'll log that away under something that I'll never do. Alright, so that place right there, that is where you can do some Pokemon breeding and whatnot. Not going to explain all those mechanics because I don't plan to use them in this game. But they're pretty easy to figure out. Just leave a male and female Pokemon and watch what happens. Alright, we're going to sneak around some people here because there are a few trainers we can combat. But I do not want to battle because I want to get to this place, which is Goldenrod City. We have finally made it to the place that is just absolutely big and both annoying and wonderful at the same time. We'll explain later. Now, there's a lot of really important things here in this city that you're going to want to check out. And the first thing I guess we'll check out, since it's all along the way, is this place here, which is the Goldenrod department store. Now, it's in this place here that you can actually buy a lot of different things. Some floors you'll find more useful than others. Now, the first floor here is actually just more or less the generic information. You don't really need to worry about this part here, especially if you're playing along and following along. The second floor you might find a little bit more helpful. It has more or less the generic Pokemon stuff like the potions, super potions, repels, stuff like that. So if you want generic items, you can come here and get them, pretty much all of them. Now, the third floor is a floor that I really don't think is all that important unless you like X items. Pretty much all you'll find here are the generic X items like the X attack, X accuracy. I've already explained them in the first couple of episodes what those do, so I'm not going to do so now. If you go up to the fourth floor, you will come to the vitamin selection, which is not really that big of a deal. Pretty much, you get these vitamins. They are kind of helpful in that they give you EV points, which I'm not going into EVs. It would take an entire episode to explain that. But just more or less, you buy these vitamins, and they will increase your Pokemon stats accordingly. I don't recommend you do this because these vitamins are super expensive. You can get these points by just leveling up Pokemon along the way, so just don't worry about that. Now, the floor that is kind of actually important is the fifth floor. And that is because you can actually get a bunch of TMs here. So you've got pretty much this TM Flash 17, which is evasion, or I'm not really sure what that is. But anyway, there are these various moves here, that you might find usable. Some of which include the TM22, which is Solar Beam, 52, which is the move Fire Blast. I do believe. No, it's Focus Blast. Got that confused for some reason. Well, anyway, you've got Solar Beam here, Focus Blast, a fighting type move. You've got the move Fire Blast here, which is a really good fire type move. Got the move Thunder, which is not really that good. I don't recommend it unless you have the Pokemon Rain Dance. Talk about that later. And then you have a Pokemon, or this TM here, which is called Blizzard, which is a really good ice type move. Again, not recommended outside of weather. And then you have Hyper Beam, which is the most deceptively unpowerful attack in the entire game. It's really not worth your time. Now, you might find a couple of these TMs useful, especially Fire Blast and Solar Beam, and I'm actually going to go ahead and get a Solar Beam right now. Mostly because I'd actually like to have one for my little Bellsprout, or my Oddish, and I will be coming back for another team a little bit later. I'm not not going to do that right now because I have plans for things a little bit later. Actually, you know what? I think I will buy this now. So yeah, I'm actually going to get another Pokemon pretty soon. And the only hint I'm going to give towards it is this one right here. I'm actually going to get Fire Blast. This is actually it. Now what this is going to be taught to, well, you will have to actually keep watching and find out a little bit later. Don't worry, I will reveal it soon. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on now. Well, actually, there's one more thing that's important here. I almost totally forgot about this. Now, outside of the town, if you actually did catch a Drowsy, if I didn't mess this up, I did not. If you have a Drowsy, there's a Pokemon trainer here who wants to trade a Machop for it. So if you want a good fighting type Pokemon, I highly recommend this one right now. But anyway, taking a look at Machop. Machop is a fighting type Pokemon that is found in both versions of this game. Now Machop Fully Evolved has some excellent all-around stats. It has a great HP and a respectable defense stat, along with a fantastic attack stat, one of which is actually among the best in the game. And in addition to that, one of the best things about this is a fighting type, and fighting types in this game are excellent for a lot of the gym leaders we have coming up. So if you want a really good bulky attacker that's a fighting type, best chance right here. Unfortunately, what hurts Machop is the fact that this Pokemon is very slow. But in addition to that, this Pokemon has a limited move pool. It can be a pretty versatile attacker, but you need some kind of hard to get TMs to make that function. Outside of that, it really only learns fighting type moves, which can kind of hurt this Pokemon in the long run. And in addition to that, kind of a lot like Abra, in order to actually get this Pokemon fully evolved, you are going to have to trade it. So if you don't have a trade partner, you're basically stuck with a subpar Pokemon that may not be worth your time. However, if you are able to trade this Pokemon and you want a bulky physical attacker, especially one that's going to help you get through a lot of annoying gym leaders coming up, I highly recommend this Pokemon. But outside of that, there are better Pokemon that you can get if you're not able to evolve this Pokemon. So I am personally not going to take advantage of this particular Pokemon, but if you want to, I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's got a lot of advantages. So anyway, we've got one floor left in which to explore, and that is the 6th floor. Now, if you go up here, the only real thing that's worth your time is they have this random drawing lotto thing where they do daily drawings. It's $300, and it's kind of worth it because, oh, I didn't realize I was so short on money. Well, I'm not going to do it, but they offer certain prizes each day. You're welcome to kind of look those over if you want. I'm not going to because, well, I have more important things to do. Now, as it turns out, there actually is a basement in this place, a B1 floor. And if you go down there, I'm not personally going to, but if you go down there and kind of have the Machokes move the items around, you can actually pick up some different items. These items include an Ultra Ball, an Ether, and a Burn Heal. Now, if you want those, feel free to go pick them up, but I kind of don't want to do that right now because I've already spent more than enough time here. So I'm going to go ahead and move on right now, and we're going to move on to the next place as we've got a lot to explore here. Now, the second place that's actually kind of important to explore is this place right here. And this place is the... well, if I can get it to... there we go, the Goldenrod Game Corner, a safe and sound playground. I don't know how anything that's a game corner can be a safe playground, but there you go. So in here, you actually have the ability to acquire a coin case and obtain some coins where you can get certain prizes accordingly. But first things first, my name is Mr. Game. What is with you people having funny names? Ah, Mr. Guy Gent, Mr. Game, that's funny. Anyway, my heart pounds with excitement when people enjoy my coin game. In fact, that's what I live for. You look like quite a challenger. Glad you got that from the random Pokemon behind me. Or however you pick it up, I don't know. Why don't you play my coin game? Sure, I'll do that. You can get fabulous prizes if you manage to collect a lot of coins. Sure, I'll do that. It's not like I have anything better to do. Actually, I do. And this is actually it. Now, this game itself, I'm just going to bypass what he says. This game itself is really annoying. It's kind of hard to play. He'll ask you if you want to play. What you have to do is you have these Voltorb flips. You have to keep flipping these cards until you get a certain amount of things. But if you run into a Voltorb, like pretty much like that, you lose everything you've acquired. This is a very annoying game. It's going to take you hours upon hours to get to what you want. And because of that, I'm actually not going to play this game too much more. But if you do actually play this game and manage to save up enough points, there are some really good items here. These items basically include TMs, which, well, certain TMs that are important, but it also contains a new Pokemon here. And a pretty good one at that, the Pokemon Dratini. So Dratini's a new Pokemon. Let's take a look at Dratini, shall we? So Dratini, a dragon type found in both versions of the game. Dratini Fully Evolved has a fantastic all-around stat spread. It's got great HP and defenses, it has fantastic offenses, pretty much its attack stat is actually among the highest in the game, if not the highest, in this particular games, and that also comes along with a respectable speed stat. And in addition to that, this Pokemon has unbelievable versatility both through leveling up and through TMs. And it also helps that this Pokemon being a Dragon type is actually really good. Dragon types are fantastic in this game, and honestly, you could argue that Dratini Fully Evolved is one of the best Pokemon in the game. Now, unfortunately, what really hurts Dratini is the fact that this Pokemon takes a really long time to evolve. It does not become fully evolved until level 55, which is incredibly late in the game. And in addition to that, when it does become fully evolved, its typing actually becomes quite a hindrance. It becomes a Dragon Flying type, which is not that bad, but it gives you a quad weakness to Ice, and while this is manageable, there is a lot of Ice type attacks in this game, and those moves, even with the defenses that Dratini has fully evolved, can actually KO you. So because of that, while I do highly recommend Dratini, I'm actually going to say kind of pass on this right now, because as it turns out, there's actually another way you can get Dratini, and I highly actually recommend that one over the one that you can get here for reasons I will specify later. So yeah, if you're willing to wait, there is Dratini, or if you're not willing to wait, there's Dratini right now. Otherwise, like I said, there might be a really good reason, there is a good reason you want to wait, and I will identify that a little bit later. But outside of that, that's really all that I really want to explore here. So pretty much with that, there are a couple of other things we could look at in Goldenrod City. Specifically, if you go over this way, there's a bicycle shop over there. You talk to that guy, he will give you a bike. If you ride around on it long enough, you get to keep the bike. But the thing that is actually the most important here is this up here, which is the Pokemon Gym. Haha, that's why we come to every city, and why can we not go in? Oh my gosh, are you a member of Team Rocket? The gym leader, Whitney, went flying by saying, I have to get a radio card. Well, I suppose we're not going to see the gym because the gym leader is so, I don't know, what's the word, ditzy? I don't know. She had to get a radio card. Well, I guess while we're talking about that, we actually do need to go get a radio card in order to proceed with the game. And to get that, you actually have to make your way over here towards this place here, which is, we have a Team Rocket. Dude, what is Team Rocket doing here? So this is the radio tower. Well, thank you for pointing that out. What do you want, you pest? Scram! You know what? I will, and only because I don't want to talk to you, jerk. Alright, so here in this place here, you actually want to take some time to kind of look around a little bit, and that is because, well, like I said, we do need to get a radio card and a bunch of other things. Anyway, to get the radio card, you want to talk to this lady here, and she will ask you, well, she has a special quiz campaign going on. Pretty much, you answer 5 questions correctly, you will win a radio card for your Pokegear. Now, these questions are really not that hard, and I'll just go ahead and answer them for you if you don't want to take them yourself. So anyway, the answer to the first question, yes, you can check the town map with the Pokegear. The answer to the second question, Nidorina can only be a female. Click yes. Your third question, Kurt makes Pokeballs with apricorns, not apricots. Your fifth question, or your fourth question, apparently I can't count. It is impossible to use TMs for Magikarp. This is indeed true. Magikarp can only learn Tackle, Splash, and I think some other flail, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, one more question left. Now this question is actually quite tricky because Professor Oak is on a show with a person called Mary, but I think the spelling is actually wrong. It's supposed to be M-A-R-Y, not M-A-R-I-E. So you click no to that and you have got the correct answer. Ta-da! Bingo! You got it. Haha. It's like I've never played this game before. Alright, so with that we obtain our radio card, which is important because we need to get this to make the ditzy gym leader actually go back to her gym, which is Whitney. Wow, you did it! I thought the answer to the third question was surely apricots. Go around, Johto, you will find the correct answer to that, young lady. I'm definitely going with ditzy on this one. Oops, it's time to get back to the gym. Glad you thought that. Goodbye, Whitney. Alright, so that takes care of Whitney over there, and there is one more thing that might be of importance to you. That is, if you go upstairs, there's actually something here called Buina's password. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I will correct it a little bit later. Well, anyway, Buina here, she says, Hi, I'm Buina. Do you know about the radio show called Buina's Password? I do, but let's explain it to the people that don't. If you can tell me the password from the program, you will earn points. Save up those points and trade them with that sweet young lady over there for some choice prizes. Here you go. It's your own point card. With that, she gives you a point card, which is very helpful. Now, this is more or less to get things like vitamins, Pokeballs, stuff like that. I think you can get Ultra Balls, rare candy, stuff like that. This could be worth your time if you want to, like, take time out of your day to exchange your points for, or listen to her program, come up, tell her the password, and then get certain prizes accordingly. Like I said, it could have your juices, but outside of that, that's really about it. Alright, so outside of the radio tower, the Goldenrod department store, and the game corner, that's really all that's important right now, or at least that I want to show in this particular episode. So because of that, we're actually going to go ahead and call things off here, and now that we've actually got the ditzy gym leader up here, in the next episode, we are going to go in and take on Whitney, the most annoying gym leader in the entire Pokemon series. Don't know why? Well, you'll find out in the next episode. So, that'll conclude things here. I will catch you guys later.